Okay, so let's take their simple example. So we want to create a data frame that contains this data. So try to do that now on your own, and then stop the video, try to do it, and then come back and check. Okay, so you can type in a variable dose like this, a variable drug A like this, and a variable drug B like this. And then if you want to create a data frame, you can use the data frame object with these columns. Okay, now since we have them, in addition to being a data frame, we have them as the actual columns. We don't actually have to do any kind of attach. Oh, by the way, I should unattach. So I should detach. I had empty cars attached, so I don't want that. I don't need that. Okay, now, so we can do a plot with these first two variables. So let's see what happens when we use type B to do the plotting. So this is going to be the x-axis, this is going to be the y-axis, and let's see what type B does. So try that out and see what you get. So we got something a little bit different than before. So we get the lines connecting when we do type B. So he says the option type B indicates that both points and lines should be plotted. And we can use help plot to look at other options. But for now, let's keep going. Okay, so let's say that you'd like to use a solid triangle rather than an open circle as your plotting symbol, and connect points using a dashed line rather than the solid line. So we want to change these to triangles and these to dashed line. Now we're going to use a function called PAR here, and that allows you to change lots of parameters for the current session. So he says the format is PAR, and then you have all these different options that you can change, and you can set them with this PAR function. Specifying PAR without parameters produces a list of the current graphical settings. So it's a big, long list. And if you put this inside PAR with nothing else, then you get a list of the current graphical settings that can be modified. So before we do this, where we change the graph, let's try that PAR with this inside just to see the long list of all the things that can be modified. So type in PAR with no read-only equals true. So we don't want the read-only ones. So no read-only equals true means not the read-only ones. So we don't want the ones that we can just read. We want the ones that we can actually adjust. And if you do that, you'll see this long list of all these parameters that we can change. Now we're going to change some of them now. We're going to change LTY and PCH, each of those two parameters. And you can see that, for example, PCH is currently in the list of editable parameters. And what was the other one? LTY is here. So LTY is currently solid for solid line, and PCH is currently 1, which is the open circle, which is the default setting. Okay, so we want to change those two. So let's try it. So we want to do this first, though. So what this does is it takes the ones that are edited. It takes the one. Okay, this is the list of editable ones, and it puts it into here. And so what it does is it's storing the list of editable ones and their current settings in this variable. So at the end, we're going to reset. We're going to make some changes here, but then at the end, we're going to reset it back to the way it was before. And this is one way to do that. Maybe an easy way to do that. So first do this line, and then we're going to set this to 2 and this to 17, and those are going to give us a solid triangle for the dots and a dashed line for the connecting lines. Okay, so type this and then redo this again and see what you get. Okay, so I did it, and I did this at the end, so I reset everything back to the original way it was, but still I have the graph, which is here with the triangles and the dashed lines. So how did we do this? LTY, I don't know exactly what it stands for, but that you use that to change the style of the lines, and PCH, I don't know exactly what that stands for, but that gives you lots of options for changing the style of the dots. And then we just did the plot, and we took the OPAR original parameters and set parameter back to the original parameters by doing this. So don't forget, you need the no.readOnly equals true to set OPAR so that you can come back to it later. And then he says you can have as many par functions as desired. So instead of writing it this way, you could have written it with 2 statements like this. Okay, let's come back in the next video.